I'm about to teach you how to save $10,000 fast on a low income, and I need you to know up front, this is going to feel borderline illegal. Not because you're breaking laws, but because these money-saving strategies are so backwards, so counterintuitive that your brain will short-circuit like a caffeinated squirrel in a Tesla. Here's what nobody tells you about trying to save $10,000 when you're not exactly rolling in cash. Willpower is a scam. A straight-up lie sold by people who've never chosen between gas money and groceries. You know what actually works? Systems that make you too stupid to fail. Automated money systems that operate while you sleep. Psychological tricks that hijack your brain chemistry. I'm not here to tell you to skip your morning coffee. That advice is as useful as a screen door on a submarine. Instead, I'm showing you 5 steps that leverage behavioral economics, neuroscience, and strategic self-deception. These tactics feel so sneaky that you'll wonder why nobody on YouTube talks about them. Because here's the truth, most financial advice is designed for people who already have money. But you're operating in a different universe. You need money-saving strategies that account for tight income, non-negotiable expenses, and a brain actively working against you every time you walk past Target. We're about to save $10,000 using methods your grandma's budgeting spreadsheet has never heard of. 5 steps, 0 willpower required. Let's go. Step 1, the artificial scarcity mind game. Pretend you're broke, but you're not. Here's where we start lying to ourselves, on purpose, with malicious intent. The artificial scarcity strategy works like this. Gaslight yourself into thinking you have way less money than you actually do. Create a fake financial reality where you're constantly broke, scrambling, operating on fumes. Except here's the twist. Behind the scenes, you're secretly stashing cash like a financial squirrel preparing for nuclear winter. When humans have abundance, we get sloppy. We order DoorDash instead of cooking. We buy name brand instead of generic. We splurge on impulse spending because we can afford it, right? But under scarcity, something magical happens. Our brains shift into resourcefulness mode. We get creative. We find solutions. We become efficiency ninjas. Here's the automated money system. The second your paycheck hits, automatically transfer a chunk into a separate savings account that you pretend doesn't exist. Immediate transfer, before you see it. And here's the key. Remove that account from your banking app. Don't check it, don't acknowledge it. That money is dead to you. Now you operate daily life based on money you can actually see. Because you only see a fraction of your real income, your brain automatically activates scarcity mode. Suddenly, you're thinking twice about that $47 artisanal cheese board at Whole Foods. You're meal planning. You're comparing prices. Not because you're disciplined, but because your brain genuinely thinks you're broke. The beauty of this money-saving strategy, it removes willpower entirely. You're not resisting temptation, you're not white-knuckling through Target, you're just operating within constraints of what you think you have. It's like playing a video game on hard mode, except the reward is a massive pile of cash materializing 6 months from now. And listen, this artificial scarcity doesn't just help you save, it fundamentally rewires your relationship with spending. You start seeing money differently. Do I need this or just want it? Becomes automatic instead of a moral debate. But here's what nobody tells you about this strategy, and this is where your brain fights back. Step 2, the dopamine hijack. Rewire your brain chemistry. Okay, pause for a second. Let me show you something weird happening in your brain right now. Every time you buy something, your brain releases dopamine. Not when you use the thing, when you buy it. That's why online shopping at 2 a.m. feels so good. Your brain's been hacked by modern commerce to associate spending with pleasure. It's not your fault. You're operating with caveman neurology in an Amazon Prime world. But here's the beautiful, almost unethical part. We can hijack that dopamine system and redirect it towards saving. We're rewiring your brain chemistry using the same tactics casinos and social media use to keep you hooked. This is where dopamine and spending habits get interesting. Most money-saving strategies try to suppress the dopamine response, which is like suppressing a sneeze. It won't work. Instead, we're giving your brain the hit it craves, but changing what triggers it. Enter habit-stacking finance. Every time you resist an impulse purchase, immediately transfer that exact amount into savings. Right at then, before your brain negotiates. Here's what this looks like. You're in line at Starbucks about to order your usual $7 latte. You remember, you've got coffee at home. You leave the line, pull out your phone, transfer $7 into hidden savings. Boom. Your brain just got the dopamine hit from taking action with money, except now you're $7 richer instead of $7 poorer and temporarily caffeinated. The neurological pattern is identical. Money moved, decision made, action taken, dopamine released, except you saved instead of spent. Real-world example. Remember 2020, the pandemic stimulus checks? Everyone got the same money, but two camps emerged. Camp A spent it immediately. Free money, dopamine party. Camp B set up automated money systems funneling cash into savings. A year later, Camp A was broke, Camp B had thousands, and didn't feel like they'd sacrificed anything. The difference wasn't discipline, it was whether they'd gamified their dopamine response to reward saving instead of spending. Another tactic, create save triggers throughout your day. Every time you see a specific color, save $1. Every time you check Instagram, transfer $2. Every time someone mentions crypto, save $5. You're not restricting spending, you're creating positive associations with moving money into savings. Track your saves like video game achievements. Apps exist for this, but a simple spreadsheet works. Every non-purchase, every successful save gets logged. You watch that number climb. Your brain loves progress. It's why people can't stop playing Candy Crush, except now you're crushing toward $10,000. This sounds like work, right? Here's the thing about habit stacking finance. It's only work for 2 weeks. After that, it becomes automatic. New neural pathways established. You're not consciously thinking anymore, just executing. Like learning to drive. At first, every action requires thought. Eventually, you're driving home and don't remember the journey. Once you've rewired your dopamine response, you'll start feeling good about not spending. You'll walk past sales feeling accomplished instead of deprived. You'll decline nights out feeling smart instead of boring. Your brain will have fully flipped the script. But saving isn't enough if you can still see the money, which brings us to our next psychological hack. Step 3. The money invisibility cloak strategy. Real talk. How many bank accounts do you have right now? 1? Maybe 2. A checking and savings you treat like the same account because you're constantly transferring between them? That's your problem. You can see your money, and if you can see it, you can spend it. It's like putting cake on the counter and expecting yourself not to eat it. Visibility is the enemy. The money invisibility cloak is about creating financial compartments so separated, so hidden, so out of sight that your money becomes functionally invisible to your spending brain. This isn't just separate accounts. This is money map budgeting on steroids, where you architect your financial life so money flows into places you literally forget exist. Here's the setup, and this is more invisible than your ex after they borrowed $50. Create minimum 4 separate accounts. Account 1 is main checking, where paycheck lands for 12 seconds before distribution. Account 2 is bills, rent, utilities, non-negotiables. Account 3 is visible spending money operating under that artificial scarcity. And account 4, the star, is your ghost account, hidden savings, money that doesn't exist. But here's the tactical part. Account 4 is at a completely different bank, not different account at your current bank, whole different institution. Why? Because friction equals protection. If you wanted that money, you'd log into different app, verify identity, transfer funds, wait 2 to 3 business days. That friction stops 99% of impulse spending. This money saving strategy works through out of sight, out of mind, but extreme. That ghost account, you're not checking it, not tracking daily. Once quarterly, maybe you peek to confirm you haven't been hacked. Otherwise, it's dead. It's in another dimension. Money existing in theory, not practice. The psychological genius. Because you can't see money accumulating, you don't get complacent. No moment thinking, oh, I've saved $3,000. I can spend a little. Because you have no idea how much is there. Money keeps piling in shadows while you live based on what you see. Some advisors say this is stupid. They'll say, monitor accounts, check balances, stay on top of your money. For some people, that works. For most, it's another opportunity to sabotage yourself. Every time you see that balance climbing, your brain negotiates. I've been so good. Maybe I deserve a treat. That treat becomes a shopping spree, becomes goodbye savings. The invisibility cloak removes negotiation. Money flows, you live. The end. Make that ghost account genuinely annoying to access. Not impossible, but annoying, like canceling a gym membership or unsubscribing from email lists. Irritating enough you won't do it unless it's real emergency.
If you've stuck with me this far and you're implementing these strategies, you're ahead of 90% of people trying to save money. Because most people are trapped in, I just need more willpower. And you've realized willpower is finite. Systems don't run out. Automation doesn't get tired. Invisibility doesn't negotiate. But even with all these systems, there's one enemy we haven't addressed: your future self's terrible decisions. Step 4, the 30-day desired decay system. Here's an uncomfortable question. What percentage of things you bought last month do you still care about today? Be honest. That shirt you had to have, those shoes on the sale, that kitchen gadget changing your life, how many still spark joy? My guess is maybe 20%, and I'm being generous. This is where the 30-day desired decay system comes in, and this money-saving strategy will save you more money than every other tactic combined, because it doesn't just prevent bad purchases, it completely eliminates the impulse spending pattern bleeding your bank account dry. Here's how. Any non-essential purchase over $50 goes on a 30-day waiting list. Not a maybe list, not a think about it list, a mandatory, non-negotiable, legally binding in your own brain 30-day waiting period. Want those headphones? Great. Add to list. Want that gaming chair? Fantastic. Add to list. In 30 days, if you still want it, buy it guilt-free. Now here's what actually happens during those 30 days. And this psychology is beautiful. About 70% of your desires just evaporate. They decay. They lose urgency. That thing you were convinced you needed, in a week you've forgotten it exists. In 2 weeks, you're wondering why you wanted it. In 30 days, you're laughing at yourself for almost spending $200 on obvious dopamine impulse. Real-world example. Remember 2021, GameStop stock frenzy, Dogecoin, NFTs? Everyone piled into crypto and meme stocks because FOMO was rampant. Fear of missing out so intense, people liquidated savings to buy digital monkey pictures. But this small percentage of people implemented a 30-day rule for any investment over $100. They watched the crypto boom, saw friends making money, felt the FOMO, but committed to waiting 30 days. You know what happened? By day 30, the crash started. Bubble popping, Dogecoin plummeting, NFTs worthless. People who waited didn't just save money, they saved their entire financial future. Meanwhile, impulsive spenders lost thousands. Some lost tens of thousands, all because they couldn't implement simple 30-day desired decay, protecting them from terrible decisions. This is strategic patience power, not just avoiding bad investments. Every purchase. New iPhone? Wait 30 days. Maybe next model announced. Maybe you realize current phone is fine. Furniture set? Wait 30 days. Maybe find it cheaper. Maybe realize you don't need it. Gym membership? Wait 30 days. Maybe discover home workouts work. Tactical implementation, keep a physical list. Phone, notebook, doesn't matter. Every time you want something non-essential, write it with today's date. Set 30-day reminder. When reminder goes off, reassess. Still want it? Still priority? Can you afford without touching ghost savings? Here's the part making this an automated money system despite manual tracking. After 2 or 3 months, your brain self-regulates. You stop wanting to add things because you know how this ends. You know, 30 days from now, you probably won't care. So you start filtering purchases real time. Your internal voice shifts from, I want this, to, do I want this enough to wait 30 days? That shift changes everything, because now you're not relying on willpower in temptation moments. You're relying on pre-commitment to your system. The system doesn't care how badly you want something. The system is cold, mechanical. The system says 30 days, period.
Step 5. The Ulysses contract. Tie yourself to the mast. Greek mythology time. Ulysses is sailing home, gotta pass the sirens. Creatures whose song is so beautiful that sailors literally steer ships into rocks and die just to get closer. Every sailor who's heard them has crashed. So Ulysses, being smarter than average mythological hero, tells his crew, tie me to the mast, plug your ears with wax, and no matter how much I beg and scream, do not untie me until we're past. It works. He hears the song, goes insane trying to get free, but he can't because past Ulysses protected future Ulysses from his own terrible decisions. That's a commitment device, and it's the final piece of this money-saving strategy, getting you to $10,000 and beyond. Here's what most people miss about saving. The real battle isn't resisting temptation in the moment.
It's resisting your own future negotiations. Your brain is a lawyer finding every loophole, every exception, every special circumstance, justifying breaking your rules. Just this once becomes every time. So we're tying you to the financial mast, using commitment devices, making it physically impossible to sabotage yourself. Commitment device 1, irreversible automatic transfers. Not just automated, irreversible. Once money moves from checking to ghost savings, there's no instant transfer back. You'd request it, wait for processing, maybe call customer service. That friction is your friend. That inconvenience is your protection. Commitment device 2, accountability partnerships, but not how you think. You're not finding a budget buddy to share feelings. You're finding someone who will actively shame you if you break commitment. Someone making it socially painful to fail. Give them access to your quarterly money audit reports. Make them your financial parole officer. Embarrassment of admitting failure to another human is often more powerful than self-discipline. Real example? 2022 inflation crisis. Minimum wage barista, $15 an hour, watching everything get more expensive daily. Traditional advice said you can't save on minimum wage, just earn more. Complete garbage. Instead, she implemented a Ulysses contract with her roommate. Every month, show proof of saving at least $500. If she failed, do roommate's chores entire next month. Extreme? Yes. Did it work? Absolutely. Within 18 months, she had $10,000 saved. Not superhuman willpower, not sudden raise, but she'd made breaking commitment more painful than keeping it. She tied herself to the financial mast, and when sirens of impulse spending called, she couldn't answer even if she wanted. Commitment device 3, quarterly money audits with real consequences. Every 3 months, sit down and review finances. Not daily checking, not weekly stress, quarterly audits. Look at ghost savings, look at spending patterns, assess whether your automated money system is working. Key, you have predetermined consequences for failure. Didn't hit savings goal? You lose a privilege. Maybe streaming services. Maybe eating out. Maybe that hobby you love. Consequence has to be real enough to motivate, but not so severe you give up entirely. Remember that dopamine hijack from step 2? Here's where it comes full circle. When you successfully complete quarterly audit and see savings grown, systems working, on track to save $10,000 fast, your brain releases massive dopamine hit. Not from spending, but from winning, from achieving, from watching numbers go up. That's when everything clicks, when saving stops being abstract virtue and starts being addictive game you're crushing. Let's recap how you're actually going to save $10,000 fast. Because if you've made it here, you're ready for the truth that feels illegal but isn't. Step 1. Create artificial scarcity. Gaslight yourself into thinking you're broke while secretly stashing cash. Your conscious mind operates under constraints while subconscious wealth accumulates. Step 2. Hijack your dopamine system. Rewire your brain to crave saving like it craves spending. Every resisted impulse becomes a transfer. You're not fighting brain chemistry, you're redirect unit. Step 3. Make money invisible. Ghost accounts at separate banks, money existing in theory, not practice. If you can't see it, you can't spend it. Step 4. Implement 30-day desire decay. Any purchase over $50 goes on mandatory waiting list. Watch 70% of wants evaporate. Strategic patience beats impulsive regret. Step 5. Deploy Ulysses contracts. Tie yourself to financial mast using commitment devices, accountability partnerships, quarterly audits. Make breaking commitment more painful than keeping it. These aren't just money-saving strategies. This is complete psychological and systematic overhaul of how you interact with money. This is what it takes to save $10,000 on low income when traditional advice has failed. Not budgets, not deprivation, not willpower, but automated money systems running whether you're motivated or not. The reason this feels illegal? You've been told your whole life saving requires sacrifice, discipline, constant vigilance. That's a lie sold to keep you consuming. Truth is, saving requires systems, not sacrifice. Automation, not discipline. Strategy, not vigilance. Here's your action plan. Pick one step, just one. Start with artificial scarcity, easiest to implement. Set up automatic transfer today. Hide that account, live like you have less. Then in 2 weeks, add step 2. 2 weeks later, step 3. Build incrementally so it doesn't overwhelm. 6 months from now, you'll check that ghost account and see a number making you feel like you hacked the system. You'll wonder how you accumulated thousands without sacrificing anything. The answer? You didn't rely on willpower, you relied on systems. Now, go tie yourself to that financial mast and watch what happens.